Welcome back to week 2, set 2,
Bart
game 1. Yeah, I don't.
Bart, just let Bart do it. We can't handle that.
We're going to go into set 2 here, North American side of things, where the newly formed Boogaloo going to try to take down enemy Esports and find their way into the Pro League.
Yeah, so roster changes on both ends of this, right? So we see enemy in the last week, they ended up replacing. So first they got awesome off the team, right? There's a ton, right?
Real quick. I understand why Bart's so cranky all the time because his pack is so loud.
Hey man, he can turn that off on his own.
Jesus.
No, but so enemy Esports, right? Awesome's off. Bad decision all around. It seems that everyone pretty much agreed with that. He was one of the
everyone that was a part of that decision is nonsense.
Okay, so now we have Jerby move in. Jerby moves into the mid lane in replace of Takati, who's now their manager / coach. And then I believe they didn't replace anyone after that, but now Matty Pocket's playing support for them as well.
Right, so Sasek and Mackie are just gone now.
Yes.
I don't think they're on the team at all in any form.
No.
Awesome to the Max is back on solo. Great decision. Yes. Matty Pocket's replacing Mackie / Sasek. I haven't seen them play with Matty yet, so I can't say if it's a great decision or not, but it seems like it's going in the right direction.
For sure.
Jerby replacing Takati. It's the same thing I've been saying week for week, right? It's you have Jerby, who's a decent player. He's a good player. But he was on a team with Allied and Incon and Weaken, and he wasn't winning games.
Right, and now we see them with Kiki now in mid. But to be fair, Cyclone's also in solo, which I think is more the key. Cyclone in solo, rather than Jerby out of mid, is more the key to AFK being as good as they are now, in my opinion.
But still, I mean, Jerby's on that team with 9 kills, not carrying, and now he has a weaker lineup behind him, statistically speaking.
He was doing good. I actually really liked his decision to stay in the scene, right? Typically, before when he was first kicked off a team, way back, like early 2013, he refused to play for the longest time and waited for Snipe to pick him up. This time, he elects to go into the Challenge Cup with Nomad, and they were doing fantastically as a team. They were top 1 to 3 every single week, and then he leaves them in the last week to join the secured SPL spot.
Well, almost
for the 1 week,
almost
for the
secured
1 week
SPL spot. They're going to be fighting today against now Bugaloo.
Yes.
Nick was not on. Nick was on this team originally, and he's gone. He was like my highlight, right? Because I think Nick was like the backbone of Snipe. I mean, I loved Nick's
talking about old Snipe, like
NJ Nick.
He was probably one of the most. He's always been, I think, one of the most mechanical, similar to Boosh, right?
Yes.
Just very mechanically skilled.
He was the original Boosh to me.
Everything
out of nowhere. He just pops on the scene and goes, "I'm amazing at this."
It's actually the same story. Nick only played casuals until he joined Snipe. Boosh only played casuals until he joined.
Dude, casuals are harder than tournament, man. For real.
To be fair, they are.
Casuals are really hard. Now he's going to be joining Unique, who we saw, or
Uknik.
I'm not calling him Uknik.
It's Uknik. I'm sorry. That's
he told me it was Unique. But
I don't care what he told you.
I'm sorry, he will not be joining. Nick's not on that team anymore. He's going to be replaced by Jiminy Glick, which I like. Glick is actually, if he wins this set, will be the 3rd Smash community member to have joined the SPL alongside me and Allied.
Just picks and bans, please. Picks and bans.
Go Smash, go.
But no, Jiminy Glick, actually, he is incredibly improved. I played against him in ranked. He's a Masters level player. He actually only hit Masters 2 months ago. He actually... I was facing off against him a lot and was on his teams when he was aiming for it, and he beat me. Whatever. But no, he's actually much improved. He's a very good player, and I'm excited to see him play now. Make the jump to competitive, actually. And first off, Enemy Esports bans ISIS. 100% that is targeted against him. That's one of his premier gods in ranked, at the very least.
It's Matty Pocket versus Chris Pocket.
Oh, my God.
Do you think they know each other?
On her was banned. Athena was banned, too.
No. Matty Pocket.
I get it. There's 2 pockets,
and they're both Guardians.
So it's kind of
so fun. Now, see, I want to actually talk about Chris Pocket, and we saw him last season.
Yep.
Didn't do very well. Matty Pocket, though, has been out for a long time, but is highly regarded as one of the best support players.
You know, I actually meant, I mentioned this also in the show we did yesterday on Friday, is that Matty Pocket, he's not going to be the best 1, 2, 3 support like he used to be, but he still knows what's to do. And at this skill level, even at the highest skill level of Smite, knowing what you need to do sometimes is more important than executing it flawlessly all the time, like you see certain players do. And on support, you need probably the least, execution out of any role. You have huge AoE abilities.
Come on, dude.
It's not
you have to blink and then ult, man.
That's true.
It's difficult.
Hey.
But we're not going to see any blink ults here unless Humbots decides to go for it.
Bakasura is going to be important, though.
Yeah, I like the Baka pick for Uzi. Now, we don't know a lot about Uzi. He's never really played at a super high level.
He plays a lot with Chris Pocket. He's been on teams with him. Also very good in the casual competitive scene where it's like all the Smite tournaments that you see outside of the SPL.
Right. Awesome to the Max, though, has a really big god pool. One of his biggest strengths as a solo laner, what he lacks in execution, he makes up for in the ability to play like absolutely anyone. Now, Sobek gets locked in. Now, this could be there to go against Bakasura. More than likely, though, going to be a flex pick, force a little bit of ambiguity.
Yeah, and try and figure out what they want to do after. They also draft Janus. So 2 huge globals coming out right now for enemy esports with the Janus, with the Thor. They're going to have a lot of mobility to get their team in or out of where they want to go. Geb in response here, that's going to be important. I do like Geb, especially with Athena and Sylvanas off the board. He's really the next best outside of Bacchus, and it's really what you want. If you want early to mid game, you go Bacchus. If you want to focus on late game, you pick up that Geb.
All right, so we're going to be going back into the ban phase here. No surprise, junglers getting hit. Serket making it pretty far through the ranks there with Thor and Hunbots getting locked in. Not really sure why they wanted Serket banned.
They probably just don't want to have to. I don't know, actually.
I'm going to say they weren't paying attention.
That's possible, but they pick up Xbalanque here, and like I said with the Geb, right? It looks like Bugaloo is going for that late game team comp. Bakasura is there to get them ahead early. Bakasura, Hunbats, like, that's their job. Get us going early. The Geb late game, the Xbalanque late game, some of the best in their positions. You know, Xbalanque with that base physical power on his passive just carries, crits harder than any other hunter.
Wow, look at this. Guan Yu Cupid coming out. Now, the Sobek flex pick works out. They can throw Guan Yu into the support role using Cupid effectively as well. Lots of healing and sustain in the lane and great level 5 presence. There's really nothing Xbalanque can do against Cavalry Charge Fields of Love. It's like almost guaranteed death.
I'd like to see an Agni pickup here. I don't think they need to go Poseidon. They already have
that's not fair analysis. You could say I would like to see Agni here to any scenario.
Well, that's the point, right? They have the early game out of Hunbats, Bakasura. They have the late game out of Geb, Xbalanque. Pick up this god that's going to be good in all ports. It's actually going to be a Vulcan. This is actually Jiminy Glick's other really good god in rank.
This is his go-to.
To be fair, I was duo queuing with Grishank, another Challengers player last night, and I faced off against Glick's Vulcan in mid.
How'd it go?
I beat him.
All right.
But DJ Pernicus, killed everyone else on my
ran
team.
around in the jungle and solo queue and just went, I'm level 16 now at 12 minutes. That's going to be your lineups here. Bugaloo going up against Enemy. Now remember, Enemy trying to defend their spot in the Smite Pro League. Bugaloo looking to take it, and kind of out of nowhere, right? I mean, this comp, just they decided, hey, we're all just going to try to enter this Challengers Cup and see how it goes, and they made some roster changes, but they look strong.
They look good, and I'm actually a big fan of their current roster. I think Uknik's going to be the key. I mentioned that on the Friday show once again. Uknik, it's Uknik. Uknik is a very greedy player, but that works well for his playstyle, right? As long as his team gives him early kills, he's going to look to snowball. He is an aggressive player, especially if he gets early kills. If he can pick up something at these mid camps with that Vulcan combo, Fear No Evil combo, I expect to see him invading Soulshiner. Even though Enemy has a better early game team comp, Uknik is very good at being ahead.
So, check this out. We have Geb with Watcher's Gift against Guan? I mean, that is looking like they know that they're not fighting in this lane at all.
Oh yeah, it's Geb Xbalanque, right? Against a Cupid. Like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what their support was, whether it's Guan Yu or not. It could have been, he could have just 1v2'd, right? Cupid is going to outclear this cast.
See, to me, everyone sees the weakness in that, oh my god, it's Xbalanque, we should try to rush him down. For me, it's the opposite right now. Early game, they should be looking at pocket, even with the double pots ticking.
Which pocket?
Chris pocket.
There's can't just say pockets.
Oh god, it's like pants. My pants have four pockets.
I don't even want to know.
Where is Matty? There he is. Okay, so they're going to do the bottom start here. Everything looks pretty meta. No one doing triple starts here on any side. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Although I will note that Bakasura has chosen to go into Hand of the Gods here, which is not something...
And also Death's Toll.
Yeah, well, no, the Death's Toll to me is pretty common. When you look at players like Cyclone Spin, they run it off.
We see it's the kill potential.
Right, it's Death's Toll, but into short bow. 600 gold for 15% attack speed. It's huge. They don't really use the Hand of the Gods because they want that extra beads or sprint slot in the late game.
Very fast clear coming out from... Actually, more of a very slow clear coming out from Enemy. They're going to lose most of the way before they even walk up, and this is going to allow Uknik to get an early rotation if he wants. And if the jungler rotates early, that's actually a very big experience advantage for his team because typically you're going to be able to steal away a back harpy. So that's why you want to get the good push in solo so you can steal away back harpies and get that XP advantage.
Now he has 45 seconds before the Hand of the Gods. Jerby going to try to throw some damage in, but he knows that he's pushed away. I would assume they're going to go for bottom left here.
Oh, he ports in. Gets that extra little bit of damage, but it looks like they're going to be safe. Even though Thor is still in the soul lane, I'm a little surprised that Uknik elected not to try and steal. But to be fair, there's also the Bronx Maddie rotations that you would have to worry about.
Honestly, I think you're looking too deep into it. I straight up just think he is scared.
Okay.
I think that he doesn't trust in himself or his team enough yet. I think the roster might be too new for him to go something.
Thor, though, going to steal the other side.
This is what we're looking at. This is what Soulshiner's good at. He's good at taking every little advantage that he can. And this is why I think that Enemy's going to fare well in this set if they can keep utilizing the practice they've gotten from the SPL.
It's Enemy's game to lose, right? They have players who, while they didn't win a single game in the SPL, a late port coming up from Uknik, just constantly poking, but Jerby's going to get some responded poking. Look at that. 40% of Uknik's life with mid camps, not up yet. And Uknik, I think, is looking for 5 here to try and fight.
Soulshiner taking a decent amount of damage here, but it gets answered back. Jerby in the backline with a beautiful unstable vortex blinking in. No, not going to look for it just yet. Everyone's getting pretty greedy here. Jerby taking some free damage for what looked like no reason.
Oh, he's going to get slowed here. Is his portal up? No, 8 seconds. He could be in a lot of trouble, but Soulshiner going to respond with the Berserking Barrage, come back and protect his teammate there. Double tap coming through.
No, not going to land the second hit. Jerby in some trouble here. Unique getting pretty close to level 5 as well, so he's got to be careful, and he knows it. Backs all the way up, and looks like still 2 of the back camps remain untouched.
Yeah.
And with 27
so
seconds
much
here,
fighting, they haven't been able to get it. Yeah, Uzi hit 5, but it doesn't look like Awesome's going to put himself in a spot to basically have to deal with the level 5 power spike, because that's really what Bakasura is about, is hitting that level 5 before your opponent and then killing them right then and there.
Well, Sobek's one of the characters in the game that isn't really affected by it too much. They can turn around, use Sickening Strike to heal himself.
Jerby, Jerby's so greedy here. Is his portal up? No, he's Fear No Evil. He almost killed him with Fear No Evil. Jerby was so greedy there with no vision at all on the map. Literally 0 wards on the map. Doesn't know where Uknik is. He's going to give up first blood.
I talked about how Enemy, I thought they were going to do well because of Soulshiner, but to that same regard, Jerby still kind of maybe to the same point that Soulshiner is, underestimating their opponents a little bit too much. What seemed like a guarantee for Soulshiner, Jerby kind of thought was a guarantee. He gets picked for it, and that's going to put Bugaloo into a really good spot because, you never want to see Hunbots get kills, man. I don't think there's any... Him and maybe Sirket. If they start getting kills, the game just ends.
I'm much more scared of Sirket getting kills, right? Because then she starts hitting those, basically, the Death Banes once she gets crit online early, and they just, crit you for, your entire life bar.
Yeah.
But no.
That's not even exaggeration. It's, actually your entire life bar.
But now... They still have the early game team comp, right? Enemy does, right? They have the 2 globals. They have Guan Yu, who's really strong. They have Cupid, who's really strong, going to be outclassing Vedium until much later into the game. I still want to see them be aggressive. And if Uknik tries to invade, I want to see them counter-invade, right?
All right, so we got a little bit of control here. I'm looking more towards the dual lane builds here. We're still about 150 gold away from those Devs gloves. Bronx Bomber's doing a great job of locking this down. Yeah,
and Bronx has Heartseeker online, so he's going to be starting to stack up before Vedium even has his Dev gloves completed.
Speaking of Bronx Bombers, I heard a rumor that we were going to see him defect to Denial with Madman Marks going, but he's still an enemy.
Yeah, so he's, at the very least, roster locked with them, I believe, for now. So we'll have to see what happens after this game. But Bronx Bombers, for now, is playing with enemy, trying to secure their spot into the Pro League. Or... keep their spot in the Pro League, right?
Right.
Not secure their spot.
They're trying to keep it.
There's relegations and expansion.
And they're having a hard time with that so far in the early game. But I like the rotations coming out pretty quick. Soulshiner, again, has always been really one of the 2 stars for this team, along with Awesome to the max. And you can see his entire jungle gets cleared out so effectively, except for the bottom right camp, which Sobek wasn't ready for. He saves that for his solo laner. Everything else is cleared. Beautiful control coming out from Thor.
Yeah, and this Cupid just pushed up by himself. He doesn't even have wards, right?
He's level 7.
He's just abusing... Well, so is Vedium. Chris
right, but
level
6. It's Cupid, Xbalanque versus Cupid. Please, try to fight him, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. He could 1v2 this lane. It doesn't matter what the Guan does. They just don't have the push. And Uknik was looking for a kill there, but... thinks better of it. And Soulshiner are actually going to take a lot of... the cripple just not put in the right spot.
Yeah, Ozzy was looking for a kill that probably didn't exist there, right? Even if he got the 3 or 4 more hits off that he thought he might get, Soulshiner was easily going to walk out of that, even if it was placed perfectly. He had no follow-up from anyone there.
Yeah.
Even if Vulcan got a really good ult off that covered the option, he still had teleport available.
An important thing, too, is that's going to be down for mid-camps, so it might be in this Sobek's best interest to try and rotate, right? Awesome to the max. It's going to be called out. Uzi's ult down. Well, guess what? Now, Bakasura really isn't effective early without his ult.
That's true.
So I think Awesome to the Max should look to rotate to these mid camps early, but it doesn't look like they're in position for it at all.
So another curious thing from the Bakasura, now this is coming directly from Cyclone Spin, Zalia, and all the other major Bakasura players. We see Ninja Tabby coming out, and this is generally seen as a negative these days because building into his core items that are very, very effective, like Oboe, Iqbal, Executioner, this is going to wind up overcapping him massively. Now remember, guys, Bakasura's passive going to increase your attack speed and movement speed by 30%. It's a big deal, right? 30% attack speed at even level 1 is a huge deal, and he's going to have a lot of it, but he doesn't have a lot of damage.
For sure. But, you know, he has a small advantage in the solo lane. It's not much. It's about... Actually, it's almost dead even, right? It's probably a creep. Actives coming online. Oh, there's the gold difference, right? 800 experience, negligible. 100 gold. By all means, after First Blood, this game's dead even, right? You get the 500 gold lead because of First Blood, but Enemy Esports has negated that with their mid-heartbeat pressure. You
know, what's crazy to me is that Unique is now almost 2 levels ahead of Soulshiner. Soulshiner just getting into 8, right, as I started that sentence. I'm very surprised at that, right? Soulshiner's rotations have been great. He's really relying on that early mid experience that he got from taking Jerby down so quickly.
It's the IRAFer effect. Well, almost a reverse IRAFer effect, where he's been looking for these ganks. We actually saw him sitting in the left line for about 30 seconds, but nothing happens, right? So he's missing out on farms and not getting a kill.
Oh, speaking of which, Humbot's making his play over and left. Trouble here for Cupid.
I don't think they know. They have no idea this is here. Just go for. Oh, Cataclysm just off the mark.
They chose 2 completely different targets there. Chris Pocket nowhere near anyone. Matty Pocket, great presence of mind to dash away from Bronx Bombers. That was the key there.
Yeah.
That was the key. They made sure they split.
Make them decide. Make them split right there. And it looked like Bugaloo didn't know who, like you said, they didn't know who they wanted to go to at the beginning of that fight. And so it's gonna, it's not gonna work.
That for me has always been the difference between a good player and a great player. A good player will make good decisions. A great player will make you make bad decisions.
Yep.
And that right there is exactly what happened. Matty Pocket and his veteran experience threw Chris Pocket for a loop and they gained nothing.
Just some more farming going on. I talked about it a lot earlier, and I still want to see Enemy look to be aggressive, right? They have the Thor, they have the Janus, but we haven't seen either of those ults come out to try and pick someone off. I'm a little interested in that, but to be fair, right, who are they going to pick off? Sobek is incredibly hard. Yeah. He's a Guardian, right? So he has high base defensive values, high base HP, and he went the, Vanguard early on, so he's not going to be able to be killed. Meanwhile, we see the dual lane of Matty Pocket and Cupid just pushed up to the towers. So, I mean, who are they going to kill?
I mean, honestly, I probably would still be spending that Spirit Gun to try to go to the left side, get the dropship going, and do their best to just shut down Xbalanque. Even if they don't get the kill, just sending him back to the base repeatedly could be enough, because we saw what AFK did. They just picked Xbalanque every game and just went, you can win the early game. But at 15 minutes, man, I'm coming online one way or another, and I'm going to be swinging.
For sure. Allied's always run that, too. He's always run these, like... I mean, there's the thing where it's like, Allied always plays so well from behind, and he gets annoyed by it sometimes. But to be fair, he picks these gods where he can't win early.
Right.
But once he gets to late, so good.
I mean, and that's what's so crazy when he does play early game gods. He's so used to playing Xbalanque and Freya that when he plays someone who has a great early game like Neath, it almost seems like his early game is weaker because he's just so used to being pushed away from his wave, which is why I like seeing him do that. And to the same point, maybe I like seeing Vidium go into the Xbalanque because even though he shouldn't be doing as well as he is in this lane, I mean, take a look at the gold. He's 300 gold behind, and yeah, that's going to hurt, but I mean, that's like a level of boots. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And it was kind of expected, right, to be this far behind at 10 minutes. That's not bad.
To me, I thought he was going to be much farther. I thought that there would have been a death by now. They're even in experience. They both just hit level 11.
Okay, looking at net worth, though, Hunbatz and Uzzy Wuzzy on that Bakasura have been farming really well. Of course, Sobek's going to take his way up there as well. That's just solo laners, right?
Hey, man, what does that mean?
Solo laners they get free farm, man. They're just,
we have to work for that farm.
You just sit there in lane and you use abilities and everything dies, right? Mid laners, they got to deal with like 8 people in their lane all the time. Hunters got to get ganks, right? Solo laners, they just
called
are
the
left
solo
alone.
lane. There's not supposed to be junglers.
So Uzzy Wuzzy took a lot of damage there, and Thor was in position to look for a gank. You saw that Xbalanque ult come out though in response, just trying to make sure Uzzy Wuzzy could get out. Great decision.
With that Soulshiner getting chased down by 3, Jerby and Matty.
This is a huge pinch.
They're going for the pincer attack here.
Go for Chris Pocket.
Why are they choosing different targets? Chris Pocket's getting low. Oh, no.
He walked into it. Vulcan all coming out, too. Soulshiner's going to pick up a kill onto Chris Pocket. Now Matty Pocket just using Cavalry Charge to get out.
wait. Awesome to the max, trying to make the rotation here. I don't know what he's going to look for.
Iffy.
Bronx Bomber's a little bit too low. If he finds a good pull here, oh, that preemptive beads.
Hey, he got the beads out. That's really important. Are they rank 1 beads as well? Yeah, they're rank 1. So down for 180 seconds. That's going to be important, especially for Jerby.
Okay,
right?
real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're going to switch gears because I talked about the attack speed for build from Bakasura. He has opted into Frostbound Hammer.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about this build. I've never seen someone do these two things back-to-back since actually 2012. I mean that. Frostbound Hammer was right after Boots.
I know.
In fact, it might have been before Boots. We didn't build Boots. Boots weren't like an item. But I absolutely adore Frostbound Hammer. This is my like flavor of the month pick on everybody. That item is seriously powerful.
So, Cupid electing to try and sneak Gold Fury, but the rotation was so late by Bugaloo that he actually took half his health.
The big play there was the fact that Jerby hasn't gone back yet. He's sitting at low health. This is how he died the first time. He's trying to make some janky play instead of just going back to the base. They're going to lose
return
one.
Kill, though.
They'll get 1 for 1. Not a huge trade there, but Jerby's still not in this fight.
Yeah, one Rising Jaguar and darts, and that's going to be a kill for him. But it looks like Soul Shatter's getting really low. He's going to survive. Oh, but the Branching Bull is the extra hit. He aimed for Awesome to the max, hit him, and the Branching Bull is going to take out Soul Shatter. They're going to pick up 2 more kills, and this is going to be an uncontested Gold Fury.
Jerby just had no pressure.
Maddie's there too.
Jerby just had... Wait a second. Chris Pocket has an ult, but Matty Pocket literally could just walk in, hit him with the... Oh, come on.
Maddie stole it!
Dude.
Maddie's still feeling it, man.
I mean, like, right there, he just... drove in, didn't even attack people. He's just like, you're all stunned, thank you, and I'll die for it, no problem. Now, Jerby finally makes his way back in here, but I think that whole fight was lost due to the fact that Jerby just didn't back. He just had no presence.
Yeah, and that's twice now where he's elected to try. It's the one more way. It's the Zapman one more wave syndrome, right? You're trying to get a little bit of farm, but then these big team fights break out. But the question is, did the team fight break out, or did Bugaloo recognize, and I think they recognized that Jerby was so low that he was either going to have to back or stay in at a weakened state.
Right, and if he moved too far up to be a presence, he would have died. If he didn't, he could have just baited his team, and that's what it felt like. It felt like Jerby baited his team there. Soulshiner wound up paying the price for it. Now, while Soulshiner did find the return kill, he gets answered back immediately, and it's a shame because even with that Gold Fury, it doesn't feel like they have control.
You know, they don't have control, but that definitely kept them alive, right? The experience doesn't look like it's too big of a difference, and Matty Pocket getting that, yeah, it's 3K. It's pretty negligible at this point.
Oh, I don't know. 3K is not really negligible. That's when things start to get, like, fun, right? That's when you start to see the little differences.
It's about a level in each lane, excluding the support, right? That's what it looks like to me.
Which can be good.
That could be important, right? And level 13 is the critical level, right? The extra damage from the ultimates.
Level 13 is my favorite level in the game. Favorite level.
Look at this aggression here on left side, though. You know, Enemy Esports, like I said, they have the early game team. I like this. I like them being aggressive. It just doesn't look like this is the right spot to be aggressive.
Did just Soulshiner just force 4 people to reset purple?
Yep. Oh, there's a blinking by Chris Pocket. Is he going to hit the Cataclysm? He will. And now Soulshiner's in the air, though. Are they going to be able to counter?
They're trying for it. Nice Spirit Gun as well. Bronx Bomber's going to go down, though. A little bit late on the rotation here. VDM trying to do some damage here. Soulshiner taking a lot. Jerby trying to throw some damage through. You see Unique taking a lot in the back. But overall, it looks like Bugaloo took control of that one as well.
Yep, they're able to pick up Bronx Bombers, and that's important, right? The Cupid has that early game presence, but I think what's more important is that Vedium has 3 kills. His passive, where he gets 5 extra damage, 5 extra physical power per each kill, that's important, right? That's going to make him pretty good against Cupid now at this point. And now Jerby could be in a bad spot. He uses his portal actually to be offensive.
Wow!
But Soulshiner and Matty Pocket are there to back him up. And now Soulshiner will pick up Vedium.
Chris Pocket very quick on the shield, but not enough CC to hold it down. Unique's here. Soulshiner taking some damage. Beautiful blink. I love the fact that he did a short blink there. Oh my god, that stun was so cute and very risky. Jerby will find an escape as well, and somehow all of Enemy Esports will escape a very narrow death.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're living on the edge, it seems. All these players on both teams, right? They're going in with under half health, just looking for these return kills. We saw Awesome the Max earlier in the game, right? Rotate in, try and get a kill. He didn't get anything, but he forced out beats. So these players are very aware of what's happening in the game. I'm assuming there's great callouts like these abilities are down. So they're able to keep doing that.
Real quick, cameraman, let's take a look at this fight from the Bakasura perspective. Now, we know that Lurking in the Waters is down. So, yeah, Regurgitate down still for 60 as well. So, this could be trouble.
He's just dead. He has nothing.
Gone.
There's no beads for him yet, which is interesting, right? And I'm actually surprised it took Soulshiner this long to gank that lane, knowing that there was beads down, and how much CC Sobek has on top of it as well.
You know, one of the reasons I want to watch that perspective is because there's no wards on that side of the map. On the red side, Uzi was completely left alone there from any attempts from Thor. So when he is just sitting there trying to fight this Sobek, and Sobek knows that he's baiting, you'll notice that Glick was constantly just backing him off, keeping him in that 14 to 16 foot range where Bakasura's auto attacks aren't going to land, but Sobek can still make sure he can poke him with things like Sickening Strike and Tail Whip, and he baited him just long enough for Soulshiner to make the rotation. Smart play.
For sure. And, you know, the game's pretty even. Enemy has a slight lead now after the stolen Gold Fury. About 3k experience, 700 gold, right? Probably off of that kill, and allowing Awesome to get a little bit more farm. And he's also going to be able to grab that tower in right lane here. I still want to see Enemy being aggressive. I think they have the better team until about 30 minutes. And actually, we're going to see Chris Pocket here take a lot of poke, but a great shield going to immune most of that damage.
So right there. That was kind of my issue, right? Jerby has built full CDR, but we have not seen him use it. Every single time he has done one major part of trying to do burst damage, and then he's backed off out of the fight. He literally just did 3 spells there, and then backed off.
Pocket.
That was a good blink.
That was a great blink, right? He knows it's coming. He knows he's not going to get the CC immunity, but actually there's a fight in mid with Uzi Wuzzy rotating in.
Trying to do a lot of damage to Awesome, actually. Trying to return it here. Uzi going to jump. No, going to take about 500 health there. Overall, pretty even fight. A lot of ultimates have already been used. Jerby's still available. Cavalry Charge still up as well as Fear No Evil, which is probably going to be the biggest point here if he can find a way into the back line. But he looks like he's just going to smartly retreat from this fight, go take his speed buff, and continue the farm route.
It looks like Jerby and Maddie are trying to be more aggressive. They got a lot of poke done to them, and with the heals, they're able to pull the Gold Fury here. And the question is, Chris Pocket's blink should still be down.
45 seconds.
Because he only has level 1, so it's going to be hard for him to get in here and contest this.
He's still trying, though. Oh, nice portal from Jerby.
Is he gonna get this?
Will we see another one? They're trying for the return steal here. Fear No Evil pushing it away, but no. Matty Pocket's just prime positioning there was able to take it. Pocket getting pushed out. Jerby, though, very low. Going to try to use these portals. Unique's going to find Pocket in the back line.
Great
Beautiful stun coming out from Shiner right there to stop the aggression onto the carry. And with that, Enemy Esports so far will escape with only 1 death there and a stolen, or maybe not stolen.
Oh, Unique's going deep. He's actually going to tower dive. He hits the slow, but Soulshiner got the stun off under tower.
Oh,
the shield!
Chris
Pocket. This is probably one of the better games I've ever seen Chris Pocket play, outside of that Cataclysm at the beginning in the dual lane.
This is not one of his better games to me. This is absolutely the best I have ever seen him
Janus
play.
In the back line, though. Also might have baited them. Bronx Bomber's coming as well. Oh, Vedium's going to fall in the portal. He's going to take a heart, but where's he going to go? He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead to rights. I mean, with that amount of mana, there was no amount of time he could have bought himself, aside from like, what, 35, 40 seconds for his Rising Jaguar to get up? He wasn't even going to make it to the tower. One thing that's very strong right now about Jerby's build is that no one is escaping from him, because Threshold is nonsense.
It's also hard to lock him down. He has Beats 3
That's true.
And Aegis 2 online. So he's going, I want my core, I want my CDR, and then I'm going to make sure I will never die, or it's very unlikely to die, right? He's sitting at, I believe, only 1 death. Yeah, so it's the 1 death in the beginning where he got a little bit greedy, but since then, he's just been staying alive, even when he's that low, right? You see him kind of like, we talked about earlier where he waited to back, and it kind of hurt his team, but he's still able to stay alive.
All right, Chris Pocket blinks in and uses hand.
Away.
He got one of those with the hand. Glick already killed the other one at that point. But still, you know, a 45 gold advantage there. It's smart. Enemy Esports needs pretty much everything they can get at this point. They do have a decent gold lead. In fact, let's take a look at the charts here to see how they're faring. 2,500 gold, still about 2,300 experience behind, but that is starting to be made up. The extra item levels that they're getting from this gold advantage is going to even it out.
I think Bugaloo, they're allowing Bugaloo to get 2 late game, right? It's 2,500, right? By all means, they have the lead. Matty Pocket's done a great job. 2 Gold Furies now in his hand with the use of hand. And I just want to see them put more pressure. I just think when they get to late game, that Cupid is doing nothing next to Vedium, right? He's going to be putting out 200-300 more damage per auto attack. And then Jerby, he's not going to be able to 100 to 0 people like Jiminy is, right? And also Jiminy, Vulcan has so much poke late game. Like if you get hit, oh, great pull, great read coming out from Awesome. Question is, can they burst him in time?
They're trying to actually turn this around. Ozzy throwing a huge amount of damage, forces out the rotation from... Hello?
What?
Hello?
Did he port into the tower?
He did, and then he walked back into instantaneous death.
Okay.
Perhaps he was
Ozzy
lagging.
wants to keep this up. He's moving so fast with the passive true damage coming through. The tail whip is also going to have a... No, it's not. Ozzy's got a 2v1 them.
That was pretty free. Even without that shield, he won that 2v1.
Oh, yeah, no. He didn't need the shield. There was no way he was going to
unless you count the tower, and then it was a 2v2.
Okay. Towers are OP.
I mean, very clearly. Soulshiner was looking for what seemed to me like Jerby gonna beads, and he'll get through just barely. Threshold will get out of there. Remember, portals will increase his movement speed. Threshold will increase his movement speed, and they do stack. So he's able to get out of there very quickly. Like Adonis pointed before, it's all about slipperiness, right, in the mid lane. He needs to be very, very slippery. Otherwise, he's gonna get caught repeatedly. And right there, that was the third time we've seen him escape.
Yeah, and Ozzy Wuzzy's gonna take this tower and right. And Bugaloo doing a great job. You know, they're down about they're still down about 1K, but Bedium, 3, 2, and 5. He's got Ickful online, and he's going to be starting Executioner soon, so he's going to be chunking through even Matty Pocket.
So here's one of my issues. We're going to look at Soulshiner here a little bit in the build department. Now, he went into third item Magi's, and he spent 900 gold on beats.
He's trying to be a team player, right? He's foregoing damage. But that's the thing, right? You kind of need that damage when you have the Janus.
Everyone's foregoing damage. Janus went into CDR. We have a Sobek who's not known to put out ridiculous amounts, right? Guan, you will do decent from a support perspective, but then they have Cupid. No one on this team is like, oh my god, that's the damage guy. That's the carry. This person's going to bring us into the end game. Whereas you go across the way, Baka there for early game, Geb there to support it, and then, God forbid, Hunbots or Xbalanque get kills.
Yeah, and looking at the damage charts, right? The top two, Bakasura, and even though Vedium has died twice, he's still right there, right above Sobek. And Sobek's probably just up there, much like Uzi, because they're just battling back and forth, getting a ton of poke going on. And then Jiminy Glick, right above Jerby in damage.
Glick has been playing lights out, by the way. Only person on the map yet to have found a respawn timer. Love it. It's the Smash mentality, Kevin. Don't get hit.
Don't get hit.
Don't get hit. It's the #1 rule in Smash. Don't get hit. And Jiminy Glick's doing it perfectly. 0 deaths at 23 minutes as Vulcan. And he's going up against Thor.
I think that's the key there, right? Is he has avoided the Thor ganks, really. The only Thor gank we've seen has been over on that right lane to kill Ozzy Wuzzy. Meanwhile, are they even trying to contest this? It looks like Boogaloo's trying to bait it, right? They want a team fight. Actually, they don't want Matty Pocket to steal it for another time.
For real. Cavalry Charge going to try to do its best here. Unique going to get stunned out, but obviously not enough. Blink Powder going to hit 3. Vulcan ult over the walls, going to spell another big hit there. And take a look. Jerby, you're slippery. He's trying to get away. He's low. Can Glick find it? And he will in the back. Soulshiner forced to escape, and that's going to be a 2 for 0. And they're looking at gold.
Great blink by Chris Pocket. Perfectly placed. Hits the 2 he needs to, stopping them in place, allowing them to pick up Matty Pocket, which was the key there, and then Jerby later on. And look at the poke coming out from Jiminy. He's actually beadsing?
No. Awesome. You can't be doing things like that, buddy. That's going to be a kill. Gold Fury still goes the way of Bugaloo, and we're going to check back in with the charts here and see a huge swing down right off the cliff. Does the lead go? 1,200 gold now for Bugaloo and 8,300 experience.
Yeah, great decision by Soulshiner there. Just push, they can't fight this, right? He's going to push the mid in response, trade out towers, and Bugaloo, they're not going to be able to keep defending this. They're going to trade it out, but Bugaloo is looking really good. Chris Pocket, he's been playing out of his mind.
Hello? Bronx Bombers? You all right?
Doesn't hit the slow, but there's the Fear No Evil. Beads forced out. He's going to pop sprint as well.
That's actually not a bad win there. They do get the beads fine, but all 5 of them just stopped backing there. And for what? Soulshiner's going for the tier 2. That's the play I want to see be made every time.
Maddie and Bronx don't even want to fight this. They just want to delay them from backing.
And look at this. Soulshiner, 1,500 gold's going to even that one out.
Great decision by him. Better decision, right? For Matty Pocket and Cupid to keep up the pressure. Like I said, they're not looking for the kills. Just let Soulshiner split push. We're getting later into the game. Soulshiner has that defensive item, and now we see the gold even backed out again, right? Still 7,000 experience in favor of Bugaloo, and that's really off of Jiminy Glick right now.
And look at Glick's build right now. This is aggression build. He's got Shoes of the Magi for damage. He's got Book of Thoth for the huge spike in damage. And then Chronos Pendant to make sure that he not only gets a huge spike in damage, 70 damage on that item, but he's going to be throwing out even more cooldowns, right? More backfires at this stage of the game. 305. Still hasn't died.
This is a very unconventional build coming out of Bakasura, right? So he went the attack speed boost, but that was because he built into the Frostbound Hammer, right? So he's not getting that core attack speed. But look at him building crit late into his build.
In fact, let's just look at him. Let's take a look at Bakasura here. We'll check in with his stats as well. On the bottom left, 2.37, and that's after the passive is stacked. He just used Hand of the Gods. So he's going to be right below the attack speed cap here. Very, very smart. He has a lot of movement speed, and since, remember, he did build Hand of the Gods, can't build Sprint, Vitalis is going to take that without overcapping him. That's a really big deal. Ozzy's in a great position to maybe not carry in the end game, kind of like how Cyclone or Azalea would, but he's going to have a huge effect on it.
You know what I think the biggest thing about this is the extra 400 health that Frostbound is providing him now with the recent buff.
Item is so good.
It is so good. Like, it's a mid-game item.
And then Death Toll.
It costs like a mid-game item, but it's a late-game item now, right? With the buff?
Death Toll has 100 health on it as well, right? So you have 500 extra health on Bakasura, who is CC immune, or 90 health, whatever. You know what I mean. Just, come on.
Clumsy. Hey, I'm not doing camera anymore. You can't
Janus
blame me.
blaming all the time. You know that's all the chat was during EU?
Was it?
Just, yeah, Clumsy made a mistake. Just blame Adonis.
They can't even... I'm casting! Chat, I hate you. I love you, chat. Don't
you said it. Join me.
I know, it's too late. So looking at it though, Jiminy Glick 3-0 and 5. He's been doing a lot of poke damage, and the later it gets, right, the Vulcan meatball is so devastating. Jerby, if he gets hit by it out of position, well, he won't die, right?
It's 80%.
It's just so much.
It's like 80% he's going to take. Jerby also building into a little bit of damage here as you see the Book of Thoth come out, but there's a huge difference in stacks there. He just got up to 7 comparatively to the maxed 75 stacks coming out from Jiminy Glick.
That's Soul Reaver he's building.
Absolutely can't build anything else.
And I know it can't, but I'm just... it's... like... The two gods that you want to see Soul Reaver on are Isis and Vulcan. And for him to get it online with a fully stacked Thoth as well...
And that's already a soul trap, right? That's not a reliquary, which means it's almost done.
Yeah, he needs 1,300 gold, I believe, to finish it off.
Let's take a look at the golden hand, Clumsy!
What are we at? What are we at, Clumsy? He's not... Oh, okay, he's pretty close. 600 gold,
actually. Yeah, that's really close, man. He's like 500 gold away.
Yeah, and he's just gonna farm and back. Actually, he's probably gonna look to... Oh, no, he's gonna buy it. He sold off his starter item.
Nice.
He's going to wait in base until he gets enough. There it is. There's a Soul Reaver pickup. Now, when he hits the meatball before a fight starts, anyone, even Matty Pocket, is going to feel it at this point.
In fact, Matty Pocket would probably feel it the most.
He actually has no magical defense. He's elected to go into double physical, right?
The Midgardian's curious.
Well, it's to stop the Bakasura and Vedium, right? That's the key. But the thing is... they're not really going to focus him.
This is such a smart comp. They have two people doing a lot of auto attack damage, right? Like he just said, Ozzy and Vedium are going to be swinging, but then they also have Unique, who's doing base damage. The Bronx Bombers got healed for a full health conviction and his hearts, right? And he's still not full health. Matty trying to make a stand here, but he's going to fall for this.
Yeah, there's not much he can do. Chris Pocket's going to take him out, and Soul Shander's in there. He just has to get out. There is no re-engaging on this fight.
Oh, he just re-engaged, and he's going to have to escape here, but that's going to put them in a really awkward position. All 5 still alive, but they don't have any sustainability here, and the zero-death Jiminy Glick is looking mighty low.
Oh, Jerby got knocked towards the team. Chris Pocket, though, going to be stopped by the wall. Great job from Soulshiner. He's going to pour it out, and it looks like okay. He's actually going to beat to keep the aggressor. Jerby all coming through, but just looking for damage there.
Damage isn't high enough, though. Full CDR build, while very strong, is not utilized for this type of situation. He should be using those portals to get his team in and out. Give them escape routes. Awesome to the max, getting low. Jiminy just trying to throw some shots at him.
Look at that turret placement. Just zoning. He's not doing it for anything else other than to make sure that they stay out. Yeah, and they just waited too long to look for the engage. And now Vedium going to be doing a lot of damage. Poison coming through. One more auto attack. He's critting for over 500. The poison will take out Cupid in the back. Jerby makes it over the wall, but no. Uknik hits the teleport. Joe goes over the wall following him. Last in-hand auto. That's going to be 2 more falling from enemy.
That's what I'm looking for. He actually hits him with the Sacred Monkey, right? But doesn't teleport immediately. He waits for Jerby to go. Is he doing this again? I feel like we've done this before. Ozzy, does he see him? Does he see him?
He doesn't see him. You can maybe see him, but I think he's more looking for an invade on the speed if it was there. He was definitely looking to pick up anyone because they know they were low, right? It might have been worth it. I don't think they're going to be fighting for the next 90 seconds. They're just going to be basically like, here's all our tier 2 towers. We don't want to fight you.
After the way the last team fight went, I absolutely think they're fighting, at least in their comps.
They shouldn't. Well, they shouldn't be fighting these towers, right? They can't. They're going to have to... God, Brandon, they're going to have to fight under Phoenix, if anything. And with the CDR coming out from Jotuns, it should be up online when it needs to be.
So we're looking at the Heartseeker here, right? Cut in half. He's got the Rage online, talking about Cupid. But you go across the way. Let's take a look at Golden Hand again, right? Vedium's getting very close to getting this Rage online. Shouldn't be that far away, right? Taking a look at his build, he could sell a starter item off at any point. I mean, it's only about 12.55 to finish it. So after the Gold Fury, he's at maximum 300 gold away.
Yeah, it can't be too much, and we see the goal difference here. Basically, 3K at 30 minutes really isn't that much, right?
4,200 isn't that much either.
But really, it's the 11,000 experience different, considering that Matt... Well, actually, everyone's level 20. Ignore me. Whatever. Chris Pocket, you know, getting an extra level of Cataclysm here when he hits 20 is going to be important. But Soulshiner once again with the split push, right? That's great. I'm loving this by Soulshiner. Do not fight, though. Soulshiner's not there. This is a bad engagement for enemy, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Although Awesome to the Max can hold out for a little while, it's going to be up to them to try to find a big kill.
Uzzy back to defend Soulshiner. Now Maddie's going to take this 4-on-4.
They're going to try at least. Maddie's taking more than that. He's taking a lot of damage. Jumping in. Oh, Unique getting very aggressive here. Meatball coming through, trying to do damage. Awesome. Going to be forced to wait here. One of the weaknesses in Sobek for what he does in the lane to make you just absolutely hate your life doesn't bring a lot to the end game table if you don't have a very hard carry.
It's a lot, yeah, like you said, right? It's a lot of sustained damage, but that's kind of the name of the game for the entire enemy esports. Who is going to 100 to 0 someone who's out of position? No one. So they want to try and make these engagements last as long as they can. But now that Bugaloo has Fire Giant, right, the longer the engagement goes, the better Bugaloo is going to do because they're going to have that constantly ticking heel coming out for them.
I hope that somehow gets photoshopped.
It's going to.
Right side tower getting lower. You're going to see the stun coming out, but no actual stun from Soulshiner.
Maddie's dash got interrupted there, actually.
He's
going to take a lot of damage.
He's going to clean it up beautifully. Going in, Soulshiner, are you going to look for it? You're going to be greedy again? Or I think you're letting this one... Oh my god, he went in again.
But he went on Chris Pocket of all targets, and he gets really low. Oh, did that get... Wait, what? Okay. It looked like Glick was looking to be aggressive, but Jeremy hit the portal on him, and it was immediately beatsed out, so it like disappeared on the screen, so I was confused.
Glick still looking beautiful, 307.
Look at that.
14,000 gold.
Back.
I mean, that's what you want to see. This team, and you know, no offense to enemy, this team right now on Bugaloo looks more like an SPL level roster than we've seen from enemy throughout the entire SPL.
It's really just their team presence, like as a whole, right? So now the question is, what can enemy do to get back at Bugaloo, right? What are they going to have to do? And
all right, I'm sorry.
I'm
real quick. Uzzy is after my heart because he just built Wingblade. Like, this guy I love him.
Wingblade is so good.
Dude, this item is so strong. 300 health. 10% attack speed, you're getting 10% movement speed, you're getting slow immunity, which is incredible.
There's 4 slows coming out from enemy esports.
And remember, he doesn't have sprint, so that slow immunity is going to work so well, which means he gets to augment that extra damage from Fatalis. This is such a beautifully coordinated build. And remember, he was at 2.37 after maxing out his passive.
He'll be right about that.
2.47, 0.03 under the cap.
Yeah, and it looks like Bugaloo is going...
You get tingles?
Not really.
Come on, man.
You're just the min-max.
It's the tingly.
So,
I love it.
Bugaloo is going to push up all the lanes, take all the buffs, and set up for the next Fire Giant. And look at this player damage. Matty Pocket, you know, what you want from Guan Yu is a ton of damage as a support, right?
Right.
He's sitting at 2,000. He's been doing nothing, especially considering how aggressive... I actually want to give this to the dual lane of Bugaloo for not allowing Matty Pocket to be as aggressive as he should have been in that lane.
Looks like we got a quick timeout coming out here from enemy.
Don't say timeout.
This is a timeout.
Brad, it's not a timeout.
It's a timeout.
You're not allowed to actually time out the game. Like, oh, I'm not feeling well, right? It's got to be like, my keyboard broke. Someone DC'd.
All right, so we're going to take a timeout.
It's a pause. It's a pause, Bradley. Who's yelling in my ear.
Brad in production going off there. So, I was very harsh on Chris Pocket in Season 1. I gotta tell you, I was one of his biggest haters.
He's dead.
This right here, this Chris Pocket, is the Chris Pocket I expected in Season 1.
Jerby took half his life from the 3, right, from the meatball, and then another about 20% coming out from backfire. And even after the Guan Yu heal, he's sitting at half life, and he forced his beads out.
That's the third time that's happened. 3 times he's been at half life.
Soulshiner comes through, but it's a little bit too late. Bugaloo's still going to secure this. Jerby's ult actually crushing. It's not going to be enough to kill anyone, though. Matty Pocket will pick up a kill. Jimmy Glick's going to fall. That's pretty important. Chris Pocket a little slow on the Cataclysm.
They got the Fire Giant, though, right? They're going to lose Glick for the first time, which will hurt indefinitely. But, I mean, you take a look at the roster. You have Hunbots. You have a delicious Xbalanque with 4 kills. Both of them have Fire Giant. If no one else had it, would it really have mattered?
Deathbringer is so close to being online for Vedium too. I don't know what's his golden hand, but it's going to be close, right? It's going to be 600, right? So he's about 800 gold away. That's going to be the Gold Fury and maybe a Phoenix push.
Needs 1,000 gold.
Okay,
it's a lot of
1650. You're right.
A lot of gold. It's gonna slow him down a little bit, but honestly, with the way that he's been playing and the damage he's been putting out, I don't know that he even needs it. I mean, you look at Cupid right now; he's in pretty much the same boat, right? Actually, doing a great job in terms of keeping up in gold. You see him even at 133 compared to 4210. He's only behind by 500 gold.
Yeah,
That's
he's
really
the
impressive.
best on his team. 600 over Soulshiner, so I'm a little surprised Soulshiner's that far because he was pretty far behind early on. He was about 2 levels behind, but he's been doing a great job of farming. It really, actually, I already know exactly what it is, right? It's the split
same,
pushing.
I mean, look at him right now.
Right? He got 2 towers, which goes towards his team, but he also ate all those solo waves, which you almost never see as a jungler.
Speaking of solo waves, I mean, that's what he's doing, right? He's in there right now. In fact, we're going to find him in a 1v1 over in the right lane here against Batz in just a second here. Unique jumping over. Oh, Sacred Monkey into the wall, and that's going to send him packing. But, I mean, he forced him away, and Soulshiner did his job by separating the team, not making sure they can't utilize that Fire Giant effectively.
I mean, not having Batz is huge, right? He's one of the bigger team fighters, but so is Soulshiner at the same time. I think Batz is offering just a little bit more. I think that's a good trade-off for him.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a huge win. Not only do they force away the Fear No Evil from the fight, which is probably the most important ability on that roster right now, but you also have to consider the fact that there's a semi-global ult coming out from Thor, plus insane movement with Mjolnir's attunement, low cooldown, great amount of control over the map, and he's closer to the side of the map that he needs to be on. He's forcing a Unique into a really weird spot.
Oh, there we go. Now he hits the teleport monkey. He's going to jump over just to slow. He's not going to get the kill, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Why would you ult there? I think you had them. I think he was good enough.
No, he was going to die. I mean, even if he got him a little bit lower, the overhand smash was coming, and then the Fear No Evil, even with the Magi's, would have finished him off.
I felt like he probably could have beats the slowed and got out there, and I think ulting basically secured his death a little bit.
Oh, no, I definitely agree, but I definitely don't think he was getting out.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he was dead to rights, and I think he thought to himself, my best chance of actually surviving.
Look at this. They're not even going to fight on left. Why would they fight? Batz is pushing right, and this is going to be free, right?
It's absolutely free.
They don't even need to engage. Actually, Heavenly, now enemy esports are going to take the fight to them. This is the decision they needed, but I don't know if it's going to work out for them.
You know, I like the fact that Matty Pocket went in there. He tried to do his best to start that fight. He already lost the tower on right, so he's going to try to gain something, but he still loses himself. Soulshiner still coming out with the respawn timer, and they're still moving in here. Sobek's not going to be enough to lock this one down, so they have at least 2 Phoenixes on this rush, it seems.
Yeah, Jerby's going to have to do a lot this team fight if they want to stay alive. It looks like they're going to focus, though, on grabbing this middle Phoenix. This is the correct decision, right? Don't force a fight. Jerby actually going to take a ton of damage, and there's the Fear No Evil with beads down. Jerby's just going to die.
You know, I love Naw's full CDR Janus build. He's the one that coined it. I've always loved the way that he played it, but it doesn't look like Jerby's playing that build. It looks like he's just playing Janus.
Yeah, I don't know why Awesome charged in there. One more, yeah, Vedium's gonna hit him. Vedium is hitting like a truck right now. Even on Thor, who's been buying some tanky items. Just look at him right there. Gonna pick up a double kill, and this could be game 1.
It's looking pretty done to me. The only person remaining here is Soulshiner. Matty Pocket coming up in a few seconds, but can he lock this down? I mean, that's a Deathbringer Hunbot swinging on that Titan, and it's getting under 50. They're pushing it to under a quarter, and that's going to be game 1. It looks like Bugaloo is actually going to find a huge awakening here in their debut.
You know, very reminiscent of the last set we saw, the European set, right? Elo Fishers, or Upcoming Stars, lost game 1, so it's going to be interesting to see if Enemy can come back and do the same thing Upcoming Stars did. You know, they fall down early. How do they make it back?
You know, for me, it's hard, right? Because Soulshiner's the kind of guy that rotates around and always has those great early ganks and early farm potential. And for me, Unique just did it a little bit better there. And when your star player is getting outshone, the team starts to dwindle a little bit. Now we're going to look at the first blood here, and this isn't really Soulshiner. This is just Jerby doing the whole one more wave thing. And I mean, that amount of health, it doesn't matter which character you are. You can't do this.
And what I'm most interested in that is that was at the 3-minute mark. So he was looking to also be there for mid camps at that low in case they engaged there. So he was right. It was just greed.
I mean, you know, you can play Conquest in casual, in ranked, in tournament. It's always the same conversation. If you get ganked in the mid at 3 minutes or in solo at 4 minutes by a jungler, if you're at a position, that's 100% your fault. You have to know that the jungler is going to be there. The jungler has very
There
specific
was 0
jobs.
wards on the map at that time too, I recall.
I mean, even without wards, I mean, where is Hunbots going to be at 3 minutes?
Mid camps.
Got to be at mid camps. With that, though, Bugaloo looking real strong. Glick, who was kind of the person everyone's like, I don't know if he can replace Nick, looked real strong to me, Adonis.
Yeah, I think he was there. I don't think he made any big plays, but he was. I think the biggest thing was
that Vulcan ult at purple.
All right, that one. But he was in position more than anything when he needed to be and where he needed to be. He never allowed Soulshiner to dive him.
That's true, and that's not an easy thing to do when Soulshiner is Thor, but that's going to do it for Game 1. We're going to be jumping into Game 2 here in just a second.